Namaste, Prakash here. Welcome to the next episode of Dharma Tales. Let's debate. The twists and turns of even the greatest of warriors, even in a story like Mahabharata, makes very interesting reading. How stupid humans are, how we even refuse to understand the divine intervention, the support that we get in the work that we do. It goes on and on. Even people of the caliber of Arjun, who is the hero of our story, doesn't yet understand that he is almost a nothing without the support of Lord Krishna. Just to express this story, let me share two incidents that happened during the Mahabharata war, and then leave it to you to decide what are the learnings, what are the things that you need to pick up from this story. On the 17th day, when Karna was leading the Kaurava army, that was the day on which finally Karna had to fall. And throughout the day, Arjuna and Karna were in intense battle. So intense that there are several times that Arjuna, with his warfare, with his arrows and whatever he had, all the ammunition, several times he was able to push back the chariot of Karna by almost 10 feet. Scientifically, if you ask today, how is it possible for a chariot to be pushed back? These are things I think are best left to the imagination of the people who understand mythology and their belief system. Every time he pushed back, Karna fought again, and very interestingly, every time he pushed back Arjuna's chariot as well. But instead of Karna's chariot, which was going back by almost 10 feet and then he was coming forward, Arjuna's chariot was only going back by about 2 feet or so. And this made Arjuna immensely proud. And at some point of time, it so happens that in one of the retreats where Karna goes back and then he attempts to come forward, because of a curse that he had, his wheel, chariot's wheel, gets stuck in mud and he is unable to get it out. And that was the time when finally Arjuna finishes him off by the urging of Lord Krishna. Arjuna initially wanted to wait because it was not fair on his part to kill a person who is not in a position to fight back. Yet Lord Krishna reminds him of his duty, and then Arjuna does it. And after this is over, and Karna goes off, leaving his body, Lord Krishna keeps on praising Karna's ability to fight, and what a great fight he had given to Arjun. Arjun is really angry and upset. He keeps asking, I only pushed, my chariot got pushed only by 2 feet, whereas his chariot kept getting pushed by 10 feet. In spite of all this, you keep praising Karna. Lord Krishna just gives a smile and doesn't give an answer on that day. On the next day, the 18th day, which happens to be the final day of the war, and when finally Duryodhana is felled, the conch is blown, and then the war technically comes to an end, though Ashwatthama had other plans. When the war ends, Arjun asks Lord Krishna, it is the basic respect that I need to allow you to get on first and then I have to get out of the chariot. And then Lord Krishna repeatedly says, you first get down. He says, no, no, you have to get on because I am the one who is inside the chariot and you are the one who are driving me. You have to get on first. And finally, Lord Krishna insists that he gets down. And then when he gets down, Lord Krishna gets down and the flag on top, which is the flag of Hanuman, disappears into the air. And Lord Krishna takes the horses which are pulling the chariot to safety. As he does it, in literally no time, instantly the chariot of Arjun goes up in flames, and Arjun is really dumbfounded. He doesn't know what has happened, why this has happened. This is a very special chariot gifted to him by none other than Lord Agni himself. In one of the days when Lord Agni was very hungry, he wanted to devour a forest, Khandava forest, and then he was stopped by Lord Indra because one of the Serpent King friends of Lord Indra was resident in that forest. And if Agni had to devour the forest, that Serpent King would have been killed. And with the help of Varuna, Lord Varuna, he keeps pouring the rain and dousing the flames of Agni and thus denying him the food. That was the time when Arjun comes to the aid of Agni. And in fact, he fights against his own father, Indra, defeats him, and then allows Agni to devour the forest, which sort of ensures that the hunger is taken care of. And Agni is so happy with him that he gives him this chariot and he says that this has such a shield of protection, nothing can happen to it. And adding to that, he gives him also beautiful four horses which were to draw the chariot, considered to be the best chariot with the best, you would call it the Saradi, who actually took care of the chariot and the charioteer. And adding to that, on top, he had the flag of Lord Hanuman himself, which was forming a big protection to Arjun. And now Lord Krishna answers the question. I wanted to answer the question that you asked me yesterday when you were saying that you are a better fighter than Karna because your chariot was being pushed only by 2 feet. Imagine that the person who was on the other side had no protection whatsoever the way you had protection. He had already been disarmed. He already carried curses which ensured that the astras and everything else that he knew were not to be used. He even had a curse which ensured that the chariot got stuck in the mud and he was unable to pull it out. In spite of that, he was able to push your chariot by 2 feet. Imagine who was in the chariot. It was a chariot given by Lord Agni himself. On top, you had the protection of Lord Hanuman. And adding to that, I, the Lord of the universe, was with you. With all this, he was still able to push. What kind of a warrior he would have been for him to do that? Arjun puts his head down. He understands that Karna was a far superior warrior than him, and but for the protection of Lord Krishna, he wouldn't have been able to accomplish what he did. And then the second question comes up. Why did the chariot goes up? Why did it go up in flames? And then Lord Krishna smiles and gives him a reply. From day one, you have been attacked by the best of warriors from the other side. Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Karna. You name anyone, they all have attacked you in one form or another. And they all had been using divine astras. And all these astras had been stopped and neutralized because I was there and because of the power of the chariot, Lord Agni himself was giving you a protective shield. The moment the war was over, those protective shields had been removed. Had I got on first and allowed you to get on later, you and the horses would have been up in flames and you'd have been dead in no time. Then Arjun falls at his feet and cries, literally saying that what a mistake I have done. I have been repeatedly underestimating the role that you have been playing, how you are with me. In spite of that, you have always been with me and supporting me. Lord Krishna accepts that with a big smile as well and gives him a hug. Very interesting story with very interesting twists and turns. How, for the sake of protecting Dharma, how many of the divine powers come together and then help Arjun, along with Lord Krishna. Hanuman was there, Lord Agni was there, the chariot, the four beautiful horses that he gave to pull the chariot, everything played a big part in the victory of Arjun. Even in our own life, many times we just don't understand the role that the gods, the gurus, the masters play, and we think that we are the doer. We claim credit for even minor victories and successes, forgetting that we are nothing but the pawns in a bigger game, and the bigger game is always to restore Dharma. Whenever there is an entropy which sets in, which creates a backward movement, is when such personalities appear. As they say, yada yada hi dharmasya. A very interesting story with a lot of learning, particularly on the dharmic front. I would like you to take your time, think about this story, share all your learning, share all your dharmic understanding from this story in this link. Dharma Tales, let's debate. Till we meet again, this is Prakash signing off.